it takes so long. I'm like talking before it comes on. Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. So we got some new stuff. Crazy, dude. So I almost want to do the Sarah Boone stuff first, but I just got done reading the new Chris Watts book. Now, have you guys read it yet? Because question, it says that it's installment 1 or 2 or something. It's so I ordered it off of Amazon, and why is it only like a few pages? I'm confused. Like I finished it just today, like in like an hour. I don't even know how long it took me. Like I guess there's more to come, but I'm like, am I missing something? Because if I would have ordered like a hard copy, would it just been like a couple pages? You know what I'm saying? I did the Kindle where I just like read it, but whoa, I don't know if you guys have read it, but crazy. It's a whole new confession now, dude. It's like different. Well, kind of. But I almost want to do Sarah Boone first. Do you guys mind? And then we'll do the Chris Watts stuff. We'll save that for the end. What do you guys think? Hey, Tennessee. Have you guys read it? So I think I read everything that was there. Maybe there's another. I don't know. I think I read it all though because it had a link. How many have read the new Chris Watts book? And how many have seen the Sarah Boone stuff? Just like type it out in chat if you watched the court hearing with Sarah or read the Chris Watts stuff that just came out. Dude, I don't know. That guy, like, it's hard to believe anything he freaking says, though, Chris Watts. I mean, now it's 3 different confessions, basically. And I almost kind of feel, well, I'm just going over it. I feel bad for Shanann's family with what he says. But, you know, it's out. It's people are talking about it. It's a book. It's what he said. It's a part of the case. So I do want to go over it. You know, oh, hold on. I have this. Okay. Head that up. Okay. Yeah, Sarah, change it back. Change it. No, you can keep it if you want. Hi, beautiful toaster strudel. My beautiful toaster strudel. I love it. I love it. Oh, I'm glad you made it. Okay, so what was I saying? No Chris Watts. Just okay. So no, the letter being Chris Watts' letter. So no. There's no new letter from. We already read the new letter from Sarah. We're gonna do. Let's watch the court hearing, Sarah, and then we'll give more because I have like more to talk about with the Chris Watts stuff. But let's start with Sarah. Just you won't be disappointed with Sarah's too, dude. Oh Lord, it's good stuff, guys. This was like, man, I was up early. It's like, you know what? I'm gonna do an afternoon live, and we are going to watch it together. Okay, so let's do this. Your new headphones. She's got pretty pink headphones for a pretty pink lady. Or I don't know. I'm silly. Okay. Oh, let me say hi to a couple people. Donna, what up, Donna? Hey, Susie. Nope, not today. We have Fan Lady, Caslu, Dragonfly, Cassie, Tennessee, Magpie, Donna, Melanie, Dragonfly, Hook Feed. Everybody's here. Lorelai. Got my toaster strudel. Okay, so let's start. I'm anxious to get this stuff started. Okay. So first we are going to do the Sarah. It's not too long and it's actually not boring at all. Not boring at all. She's always, I mean, this this trial is going to be really freaking entertaining. You know? It really is. All right, let me pull it up real quick. 1 second. She never disappoints. I tell you how much. I mean, oh my Lord. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, you're welcome. You're too good for me. You spoil me too. Okay. You guys ready? Ready? Yeah, right. I don't know if it will still be in October. Wait, hold on. Now my freaking screen is turning. Oh, I guess it'll be all right. It's turning, but then when I press play, it plays. Okay, here we go. Hold on.
Dave Cacciatore on behalf. Dave Cacciatore on behalf of the
Audio. Hold on.
I have no other way to get in touch with you.
Are you guys hearing the audio? It's just my headphones. Are you guys hearing it? Hold on. I got to connect my headphones. Yeah, my headphones aren't connected. Sorry. Okay, now they're connected. All right.
Mr. Cacciatore.
Dave Cacciatore on behalf. Dave Cacciatore on behalf of the state.
Ms. Boone, good morning. Could you please raise your right hand so Madam Clerk can swear you in?
Yes.
Ma'am, good morning. Can you state your name and date of birth for the record for me?
Sarah Boone, 10-10-77.
We also have a representative from Prison Break Investigation. Sir, if you could come forward, please. If you could, sir, raise your right hand. Madam Clerk's going to go ahead and swear you in.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you should give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
All right, sir, good morning. Could you state your name for the record?
Billy Lane.
And Mr. Lane, what's your affiliation with Prison Break Investigations?
I'm the owner and chief investigator.
Okay, very good. The reason the court had this hearing this morning is the court has found that Ms. Boone has forfeited her right to counsel and waived her right to counsel alternatively by virtue of her conduct in this case. As such, Ms. Boone is currently representing herself. The court has been working diligently to provide you the discovery. I received your letter, ma'am, and I have reviewed it. We have not forgotten about you. It's just taken some time in order to coordinate the appropriate processes with the jail. In conversations with the jail, a laptop has been secured and will be issued to you after USB drives are provided with all the discovery. Upon the jail's receipt of those items, the following provisions will be adhered to. The laptop, charging cable, and USB devices will be kept in the FDC main control room when not in use. At no time will the charging cord be placed in the housing unit. Upon the return of the laptop to the FDC main control, the laptop will be placed on the charging cable to ensure it is available for the next day's usage. The laptop and USB device is to be accounted for with the control room inventory. The control room DST or CO will make logbook entries for the issuing and returning the USB device and laptop. The dorm officer will make logbook entries for the receiving and returning of these items to the applicable movement officer. A notebook entry will be completed in IMS for every issuance of the laptop and USB device to inmate Boone. The laptop and USB device will be available daily to you, Ms. Boone, between 0800 and 1600 hours. A notebook entry will be completed in IMS for every issuance of the laptop and USB device to yourself, Ms. Boone. The discovery was provided at the court previously and is in the two bankers boxes that are in front of the court to your left, Mr. Lane. I'm going to order you, sir, to take possession and custody of that discovery that was provided to the court previously on June 28, 2024. You, through Prison Break Investigations, shall copy all of the discovery onto as many USB jump drives as necessary. The Judicial Administration Commission for the state of Florida shall be responsible for the fees and costs due to Prison Break Investigations for copying all of the discovery onto as many USB jump drives as necessary. You will appear for a hearing with the court on August 1st, 2024 at 8:45 in courtroom 12A of the Orange County Courthouse with the discovery and all USB jump drives containing the discovery. A representative from the Orange County Jail shall also appear for that hearing as well. At that point in time, Prison Break Investigations shall hand deliver all USB jump drives containing the discovery to the representative from the Orange County Jail in order to be placed onto the laptop that is currently secured and to be issued to the defendant for all trial and court preparation. Do you have any questions for me, sir?
I have a conflict for August 1st, Your Honor. I'm
Okay.
going to be out of state Tuesday until Friday of next week, which I believe will be conference August 1st for my son's wedding.
Okay, well, congratulations. When do you return from your son's wedding, sir?
I will be back late Friday evening, so I'll be available the following week.
Okay, will you be able to complete that task by that time?
That's right, I'll do my best.
Okay, sir, we will see you on give me a second, I want to make sure I get the date right. Monday, August 5 at 8:45.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you'll be given a copy of the order that I just read from. Ms. Boone, you'll also be given a copy of the order. Do you have any questions for me?
I am thoroughly confused. Was a notice ever put online for this or mailed to anyone? I don't even know why Mr. Lane is here. I don't know why I'm here.
Well, ma'am, you are now representing yourself, and previously you had requested to appear at every hearing that was held. As you are now representing yourself, the court cannot have any hearings regarding your case without you being here. I put on the record and explained to you the process that the court has had with communications with the jail. I'm not allowed to look at any of that. I'm not allowed to copy any of that. So in speaking with the jail and understanding that you still have a private investigator that was provided to you through the state that's being compensated by the state, you're still allowed to utilize his services. The protections of the attorney-client privilege are still applicable to him. So he's able to review any of these documents, ensure that they are safely copied without violating any terms of the privileges. Those will then be placed on multiple USB drives and provided to you. Those USB drives will then be uploaded to a computer that has been secured for you at the jail for you to access all of that information.
Okay. My question is, was a notice of hearing posted or mailed to anyone to where apparently the news crews obviously got it? How is it that I do not know anything about this other than my bunk being kicked at 3 o'clock in the morning telling me I have court?
Ma'am, I have no other way to get in touch with you other than setting the hearing, which was set yesterday once I received confirmation from the jail as to the processes for how this would work. And I understand that your case is important and I want to move it as efficiently, as diligently as possible. I know that you've been waiting for this information and it took some time to confirm the process with the jail. You've advised me that you have very limited space. You have almost no privacy. You have a small drawer where you can keep some personal effects. We could not send all of those boxes with you to the jail, and the jail advised me that they cannot take all those boxes. A process had to be created to make sure, and this is the process.
The process that I was explained after speaking to a couple of sergeants, and I've been waiting for that, and I would much rather prefer a hard copy of these to where I can write on them as opposed to anything that's on a laptop.
I am unable to provide that for you. I have been provided the process has been provided to me by the Orange County Jail. I understand that's your preference, but I can't do anything more than what I've done right now.
I understand. And I have had other information given to me, which is why I've been waiting for the boxes for them. So I don't know, is this something that I need to pursue continuously still for me to be able to receive my hard copies? Because no one tells me anything.
I cannot answer that question because that may call for me providing you legal advice, which I am prohibited from doing.
Okay. Well, because I have no other way of contacting you other than in a letter, and it's AKA worldwide. So am I supposed to go back and speak to the captain and whoever else it is that I might need to speak to in order to receive these?
Again, I cannot answer that question. All I can tell you is that we will have a hearing on August 5, whereby which Prison Break Investigations will provide all of the information on USB drives. Those will be provided to a representative from the Orange County Jail who will place all that information on a laptop for you to use, and that's accessible for your use from 0800 to 1600 every day.
Right. Okay, so I guess I will figure that out, because if I'm up at 2 o'clock in the morning, I can't utilize the laptop, which is another reason why I was looking forward to the hard copies. So my other question is my time prorated for the time that I've been waiting for my discovery?
I'm not sure I understand what that means.
Will I be having additional time added, or will it be extended from the time period of me waiting for my discovery still?
I'm not in a position to answer that question. I don't know what it is that you're asking for.
My pretrial is supposedly set for September 24th, I believe it is. So obviously I will not be prepared. And obviously I do not know what I'm doing. And obviously I'm still waiting for my discovery. So for that time period that I have been waiting for almost 4 weeks now, will that be added to the time frame in order for me to be properly prepared?
As of right now, the dates are what the dates are, ma'am.
Okay, so I just miss a month.
The dates are what the dates are.
So I also sent you, I believe, 5 motions. Have you received those?
No, ma'am, I have not.
They were mailed last week.
Then I have not received them yet. The last correspondence I got from you, ma'am, was received on July 8th.
Okay. 5 motions I've mailed. They're probably sitting wherever else it is, considering it takes a day for you all to receive my mail, considering I'm right down the street from you all. So I have those also in order, which may change whatever information or anything that I'm trying to acquire in between now, the month less that I have in order to prepare for my trial. That's in October. So if you could keep an eye out for those also. I don't know who I'm supposed to ask. How did Mr. Lane come into any of this? Like, how was he called?
Mr. Lane has been your investigator in this case, and he was advised to attend this morning's hearing by virtue of being provided the discovery in order to digitize it so that you can have access to it.
The court contacted him?
I did not contact him.
Am I allowed to speak to him directly?
You can.
Mr. Lane, who contacted you in order for you to be here, please?
The JA contacted me.
If I'm pro se and my own attorney, shouldn't I be included in all of this so I know what's going on and not a surprise hearing like it is again for the second time?
Ma'am, again, this is why there were benefits to being represented by counsel. The court has already identified in its 16-page order the reasons for why you no longer have those benefits.
Right. Which
It
is
makes
now
things
formed.
exceptionally more difficult, as I explained to you, in communicating with the court and communicating with the state attorney's office.
Isn't that what a certificate of service is for anything that's filed by anybody in the court?
There
That
was,
should be included in that.
ma'am, there was no certificate of service for setting this for today. This was coordinated by the JA. You were advised as soon as it was set yesterday.
It's just very odd to me that the news knew about it before I did.
Again, I can't speak to that.
And so nonetheless, my constitutional right to counsel is being forfeited on your behalf in the court. So now I don't get appropriate notice in preparation for me to be able to be here and doing what I'm supposed to be doing and act as and perform as.
I've already addressed the reasons, ma'am, for why there was a forfeiture and alternatively a waiver in the 16-page order that you were provided. Again, it's difficult to communicate with you based on where your current housing is. I'm not able to pick up the phone. The judicial assistant's not able to pick up the phone to communicate with you or send you an email to schedule certain things. And it leaves a little bit of a level of further complication.
How is it the news knows before I do?
You keep asking the same question and the answer is going to be the same. I cannot answer that question for you because I do not know.
Okay, but you do know it's harder for me.
I would agree with that, yes.
And you do know that you did not ask me any questions in regards to your order. You just read it straight off and never asked me what's what or how many with anything of it.
Ma'am, if you have questions, I can certainly try to answer them. I'm trying to facilitate you getting that information that you're certainly entitled to. And it took time for a process to be created by the Orange County Jail, as they had advised me. They do not have a place to store 2 banker's boxes of information, nor are they in a position to provide you physical copies. This is what I've been advised as the process is. As soon as that process was finalized, I set the hearing. This was finalized yesterday.
No one ever asks me. I've been waiting for the boxes. I really don't know what to say. And because I supposedly have no way to contact you other than a letter, and the same for you, I don't know how the news crews got here before I did. But I don't know going forward, how is it that I'm supposed to be able to communicate with you other than me sitting here in front of you at these, I guess, supposed surprise hearings that I'm going to have every single time that it is that you would like to speak to me? Is that what it's going to be?
Ma'am, I cannot answer that question. All I can tell you is that you can communicate with the court through the avenues that you've been utilizing previously by and through letter writing. As I said, I do not have your letters that you sent last week. They're not in the court file, and they were not in my inbox yesterday. So as soon as I receive them, I will diligently review them. And if we have to set a hearing, you'll be properly noticed for it.
In the certificate of service.
You'll be properly noticed for it. Yes, ma'am.
And will there be a proper notice for today?
Notice was performed last night. I've already explained.
Ask the news crews how they got here?
No, ma'am, I'm not going to let you do that. They're not under oath. They're not a party to this action right now.
It's wrong and it's unfair.
You certainly entitled to that opinion.
Am I allowed to ask him a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Mr. Lane, how is it that you and I are supposed to be speaking to one another?
So my suggestion would be, since you're now the attorney and you are pro se, that either you or your honor gives me access to the jail to come visit with you, and I'll be happy to do that. It is the policy of the Orange County Jail to have a letter representing from an attorney to allow me to access you. That's the reason for the past previous couple of attorneys I've not had the ability to come out and access you, but that's changed. And I would be happy to continue to move forward with any investigative actions I can do for your defense, as long as I get that access.
So you need a letter from me.
Or the judge or the jail, somebody that will allow me access to you. Yes, ma'am.
And I send it to you directly?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this a letter also that you'll be supplying to him?
I don't know that I'm in a position to compel the Orange County Jail to do anything.
But you all are the ones who contacted him.
But I can't tell the jail, let this person come talk to you. If they have a policy where you need to provide the letter, then you need to provide the letter.
So until you have that letter, you and I will not be able to speak with one another?
I will contact the jail myself and find out if there's an exemption for pro se, or maybe they can speak to you directly to circumvent the actual letter itself.
Thank you.
Ma'am, do you have any other questions?
I don't think you have enough time. I'm just doing my best, and if you could please keep an eye out for my motions.
I will be on the lookout for them. You said there were 5, correct?
Yes.
I
And
will
if
be
you
on.
could please include me on the certificate of service for whatever hearings that we have that are no longer a surprise for me, please.
Understood. You'll be given a copy of the court's order that I read momentarily, and I will see you both on August 5 at 8:45 in the morning. All right. Thank you all very much. Mr. Cacciatore, anything further, sir?
Nothing from the state.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Have a great day. Oh, wait, before you leave, that is all going to be yours. Yes, I would, sir, so that you can begin the digitization process. All right. I'll see you on the 5th.
I'll have you return your
She's not done. She wants to say more.
Sure. Yes. Yeah, I'm just. Yes. Sir, can you just hang out for a second so I can give you a copy of the order? Appreciate you. Thank you.
You can't hear. I was trying to see if I could hear her, but you can't hear what she's making out. But read her lips. But how funny! Like she's so mad that the news knew before her. But how does she know the news? I mean, I know she said they pounded on her door at 3 a.m, but the news could have just been aware of it that morning, right? So I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's not really. It's not for sure that the news knew before, because the news would have been all like they could have been told that morning and been there, right? I don't feel bad. I know who said that it was unfair. Like, I would want to know more specifics. Like, was her lawyers giving her like enough time that like a public defender would give her? You know what I'm saying? And I mean, if we find out that no, like she wasn't exaggerating, then I guess I do feel bad. But the way she is, I mean, I think that it's just her. You know what I'm saying? And she couldn't keep how many lawyers? 8. So I mean, she was warned. So she needed to just like relax and stop. And she was warned. So it's hard to feel bad for her because it's hard to think that like what 8 or however many lawyers, they all weren't good enough. They all just like were horrible. What's the chances that they were all horrible or it was her, you know, entitled, expecting so much that you just don't get from public defenders. I know it sucks, but like that's what you get because, like you said, they're overworked, their caseload is big, and I mean, so she's always welcome to hire a lawyer. So it's like just hard to feel bad for her. Now, if it was just like one lawyer and then it's like, oh, you got to represent yourself, but like she had chance after chance. So I don't really feel bad for her unless if I do find out they were really horrible and she wasn't getting like anything. But like it's hard because it's hard to like read her letters and take her like perception of it like that they were that bad because of we just kind of see how she was even with George, just like you know how she is in the interrogation and I don't know, was it Carly, sorry, yeah, and she's not gonna be like she wanted to be in control. Thank you, you worded that perfect. Yeah, she wanted to be in control and now she is, you know, and the judge warned her, you're gonna be stuck to representing yourself, but somebody might end up doing it pro bono. I don't know, she still has time, somebody could jump in there, who knows. Did Uncivil ever say like if he's able to or how that works? Because you might have somebody in the true crime community. You never know. It's not too late. We'll see, I guess. Because I'm thinking with if she represents herself or if somebody volunteers, you know, to do it pro bono, I still think they possibly might push it back a little further because they have to prepare, right? She's gonna have to prepare. I don't see how she could be ready in a few months without her having any lawyer experience. Like, how is she going to be ready in October? I do think they might have to push it back. What do you guys think? You think they'll push it back? Oh, I thought, okay. I thought people were saying in the one live that he wanted to do it or something. Okay. I wasn't sure. Yeah, right. Oh, okay. I forget who said it in the last live. They're like, oh no, he wanted to do it. So that's the only reason I said it. I didn't see his live talking about it. But what else did she say? Hold on. I was going to stop it, during it and give my thoughts, but I was like, no, I don't know. I don't want to. It's so good to just play it through. But now I forget some of the stuff I wanted to comment about. So like, yeah, I guess, did they really pound on her door at like 3 a.m. to tell her about it? And then she's like, why do I have to be here? Like, why am I here? The judge is like, well, you wanted to be included. You know, you're the one that said you wanted to make sure to be included in everything. So, and now you're representing yourself. So yeah. Oh, she is mad at the media though. Oh my God. But you know what? In the end, the media might end up helping her because if she does end up getting somebody volunteering, it's going to be because the media kept it alive. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, do you guys think she'll get somebody to take her case? What do you think? I don't know why. I'm surprised that she hasn't by now. I do think, don't you? Well, no, because I guess it's because there's really not much of a case. I mean, it depends on like what is she trying to do? She should have took a deal. Now, somebody earlier said she should have took the deal. Was there really a deal offered? Because we tried to look it up and couldn't find it when somebody said that. Was there for sure? Is that like for sure there was a deal? Because I never heard that until like recently. People like remember somebody brought it up in a live of like a couple months ago, and I was like, really? There was a deal? If there was, I mean, that she'd be stupid not to take it. But yeah, I don't know. Somebody said that like I think it was like a month or so ago, a little while ago. They were like, oh, she should have took the deal. I'm like, wait, was there really a deal? So yeah, maybe there wasn't, because that would be really stupid not to take it. Yeah, her attitude was crazy, Sarah. Or toaster strudel. It's like, come on, this is the judge that's going to be judging your trial. Like, don't. You're already on his, like, like, just try to be okay. Like, it's not going to do you any favors to be a jerk, Um, no, I'm not saying he has to, Donna, but I'm just wondering if he will. Do you guys think they will? All right, I'm trying to think what else. What else? Any other comments before we move on to the Chris Watts? I'm trying to think what else she said. So she has that private investigator or that investigator that she's going to try to meet up with. And then he's like, well, because she's like, she wants all her files. And he's like, well, you're the one that said that you don't have any room or anywhere to look at it, like any privacy. Like, so we have all this stuff. We can't just bring it to you. Like, I like how he like called her out on things when she's like getting on him. And then he's like, well, no, your letter says this. He didn't say your letter, but you said this. So don't argue. Like, you can't win. First of all, she doesn't have room. Oh, why don't I have it? Why am I here? Oh, why don't you include me? It's like, I love that he's calling her out, though. That's funny. And whoever said, I think I started this, Susie, where you said it's funny when he tries to be nice. And yes, because it's so fake. I mean, like he's trying to be nice because he's got to be professional and he wants it to be fair. But like he's just like so over her and so annoyed with her, but he's got to be nice. It is. It's funny watching that. Yeah. Yeah. Yay, Sarah's back. Sarah exclamation point. I like that. Okay, so let's go on to the Chris Watts stuff. Okay. So Chris Watts, you remember Chris Watts's cellmate back in how long ago was that? A couple years ago, a year ago? I don't know. They were gonna write that book together, like religious book together, right? And then like he was getting letters from all these women, and then he gave his friend what's his name? Hold on, now I forget his name. And I just ordered his book and read it. What was his name? Let me see. Dylan Tolman. Dylan Tolman. So he gave him what was it? Oh, he gave him a letter of one of the girls. I think Christina or his name is, whatever. And he's like, here, you could have one of them. And then this Dylan started writing her and they started talking. They had like a relationship. I don't think they're still together. I don't think it ended up working out. But Dylan gets out. Oh, so they were working on like a religious book together. And so he's like, who do I trust to send it out? Because they're, both in prison. Who do I send it? And he sends it to this Christina girl. And then I think she ends up like, I don't know if she like ends up exposing it or something happened with that book he sent her and something happened. And then, so he gets out. So now this Dylan writes a book and he's basically talking about the stuff that him and Chris talked about. And it's about what happened. So, I got the book because I was like, I gotta get the book. And I just read it today. It was really short. So there's more. It's going to be a part 3. I think this was supposed to be the first 2 installments, but there's another part coming up. So I think he's just going to keep coming because it's really short. So, hold on a second. It's very interesting. So I highlighted some parts that I'll read to you. Hold on one second. And then there's a video that I want to play too that on crime. But first, let's go over this book here. Some of the stuff that was said in the book. Okay. Hold on one second. Let me I'll just bring this up. Okay. So, and there's a letter too. So he releases a letter. And so this book, here is, hold on, let me share my screen. Yeah. So it's like basically a third confession because he has now Chris has some whole other stories and he's He's bringing NK into it. Now, so far, he's not saying NK was there, but he's saying that he called NK after it happened. And NK, he confided in her, and NK told him to take, she's the one that told Chris to take them to Cervi and told him how to get rid of him. That's what he's claiming now. Well, let me share my screen here. So he's claiming, I'll just give you a kind of an overview and then I'll read some of the specifics. Okay. He's claiming that Shanann, now this is from Dylan. So he's basically relaying like everything that Chris told him when they were like really good friends, like best friends in prison. Okay. So he's saying that he decided that he was going to choose Shanann over NK. Okay. But by the time Shanann got home that night, she found out about the affair and she was really mad. He said she attacked him with a knife. This is what he says. She attacked him with a knife. She heavily drugged, I think he was saying Cece, heavily drugged Cece because Cece kept crying. Heavily drugged one of them. And I'm thinking he meant Cece because he said Cece was sleeping. Like Cece, after like when he went to Cervi, Cece was out and Bella was up. So I'm thinking he meant that she heavily drugged Cece. And so it was like self-defense, right? So she's saying she attacked him with a knife. He protected himself out of self-defense because she had a knife and then he strangled her, right? Now it doesn't get to the part where the kids. So Dylan's saying the next part, he'll say what he said about what happened to Bella and Cece. So, but then Dylan's asking, okay, so which confession? You have a couple different confessions. Which one is accurate? And he's saying the first one is the most accurate. Okay. So the first confession, remember, he said that that Shanann went and was on top of, was it Bella or whatever? She was the one on top of him. Remember, that was his first confession. So I don't know if that's what he's going to say, or he just means more because Shanann came at him and was attacking him. But he's saying that he was going to pick Shanann. He was, I don't know if I buy that, but he was going to tell her, like he already had it in his head he was going to pick her, but then she found out and attacked him. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So, I'll read you a couple excerpts that we're allowed to do for fair use. You could read a few parts, and I have a few highlighted. Okay. All right. Hold on one second. What do you guys think, though? You can't believe one freaking word he says, though. But then, okay, so he said after it happened, he calls NK, and NK was helping him. And she's like, okay, take them to, like, so he makes it seem like it was her idea to take them to Cervi. And like I said, I don't know what he's going to say so now like it's at the part where he's getting the kids, Bella's awake, Cece's sleeping, he's getting them in the car or whatever. And then, and it says that he'll continue whenever the next part comes out. So, but hold on, let me see what parts I highlighted here. Okay, so I'll read. So, and then he talks about, remember he was with that Anna, and then he talks about like why he like walked away from her. So that's where I'm going to start here. So I'll just read you a little quick part. Where are we at? So it says, a part of the book, it says, he told me about his girlfriend, Anna. So he's saying Chris told Dylan about his girlfriend, Anna, and his parents both sending a power of attorney paperwork to him to help him with his appeal and getting him a lawyer. I read the power of attorney papers and explained to him that neither of them had anything to do with talking to his lawyer, nor did they have anything to do with his criminal appeal. Both sets of paper only had to do with his finances. He never signed them, and I wouldn't have signed them either. So he went in power of attorney for his finances, and Dylan's telling Chris, don't sign them. So this is Anna and his family, his mom, it sounds like. His girlfriend and his parents I guess didn't get along, right? After that whole thing, they didn't get along. And Chris's parents agreed to pay half to talk about for the lawyer, right? This Earl guy was not a licensed attorney, but really a jailhouse lawyer. Chris's parents never did pay their half, but Anna put all the money up. She swore that he was an attorney. However, his parents swore that he wasn't, and they weren't going to pay up to $1,700 or something close to that amount. So yeah, so they kind of like, so Anna is like, they were going to pay half and half for this attorney, and his parents are like, this isn't a real attorney. I'm not going to pay $1,700. So Anna ended up putting it all up. This guy named Earl. Okay. And now, so then Anna and the parents didn't get along after that. Right. And then it says, hold on. So it said, Chris said he had a recent conversation with Anna where she cited Genesis 2:24. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And then Chris replied, honor your father and your mother, Deuteronomy 5:16. So they're quoting like Bible verses, right? So she's basically saying like, take my side over your family. You know what I'm saying? Like, leave your father and mother and join me, be one with me. And he's saying, oh no, honor your father and mother. And after this, Chris saw a scripture that he took to heart and walked out of his relationship with Anna completely. So now this scripture made him walk out of their relationship. And it was Micah 7:5. Do not trust in a friend. Do not put your confidence in a companion. Guard the doors of your mouth from her who lies in your bosom. However, Chris failed to read Micah 7:6, which says, for son dishonors his father, daughter rises against her mother, daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own household. Anna tried to point this to no avail. And then Dylan says he really did like Anna a lot, but he also liked Chris's parents. So Dylan's like, I'm an unbiased party. He liked them both, but Chris did end up walking away from his relationship with Anna. So, and then Anna asked Dylan to ask Chris why did he walk away? And so when he asked him, Chris said, tell her Micah 7:5, he instructed, which is the one that do not trust in a friend, do not put your confidence in a companion, guard the doors of your mouth from who lies in your bosom. So he basically says, tell her that. Chris kept getting called to the business office to sign over his house to his wife's family. So Shanann's family, right, kept asking him to sign over the house. I kept advising him not to do it until he could have that house swept for evidence. Oh, yes, I've been watching it a little bit. We'll talk about that after. I have been trying to watch it a little bit. I haven't watched it all, but I've watched some of it so far. The ballerina trial. But okay, so those, and people coming in, if they want to know, will you guys explain like what I'm talking about? Because they'll be confused. So I'm reading little parts of Chris's the book. Are you guys able to follow this? Just me reading, because I don't want to put it up just because, copyright stuff. I just figured I'd read a couple parts. So, okay, so where are we at? Yeah, so Shanann's family's trying to get him to sign over the house. He doesn't want to sign it. Well, Dylan's telling him, I don't think it's a good idea you sign it over, because he kept advising him not to do it until he could have that house swept for evidence. Because Chris is still maybe wanting to fight this, appeal this, say something else happened. Once that house is, gone, the evidence is gone. But now we know another family already moved in anyway. But anyway, he prolonged signing it over week by week, coming up with excuses. Okay. And then Chris Then he talks about him and Chris talking about women, and he explained that Krista, that girl that he met through the letters, she was writing to Chris, and Chris handed like, here, you could have this woman, start writing to her. She'd be good for you. So Dylan and that Krista had started having a relationship through the letters, right? So he tells him, Krista can be a little crazy. And then Chris says back, well, my wife had a crazy side because she was from Jersey. So he's talking about Shanann had a crazy side because she's from Jersey. And then Dylan began venting to him about how no matter what I do, the justice system keeps judging me on my past where I am my past. And Chris listened silently and then replied, I wish they would judge me on my past, he sighed. Instead, they only judge me on that day. All right. So then basically goes on to talk about committing adultery and how he's a terrible husband. And he says that he felt bad for cheating. He tried to work things out with Shanann. Right before the tragedy, he said. Oh, thanks, Dire Wolf. Thank you. 4 months. Thank you. I appreciate the members. I got to get some members stuff up. I should do some updated emojis, stickers too for you guys to use. But yes, thank you so much. Put some Shanann ones up. I have some Shanann ones. Put some up since we're talking about Watts, you guys. I have the one where she's going like this, I think, right? Aunt Bella and Cece. I think I still have those ones up. But thank you, Darwolf. Okay, so where are we at? Oh, so he's talking about how he was ready. He was trying to work things out with Shanann before the tragedy. And so Dylan asks, well, was NK upset about it? And he says, oh yeah. Chris is like, oh yeah. And then Dylan asks, I have to ask, why the first confession? So remember the first confession when he's just sitting in there after he fails the polygraph. And he basically, I have to refresh on all the little specifics, which I am going to, because I do want to start like maybe talking about a little bit, going over this a little bit again, the Watts case, especially with this new stuff. So I do got to refresh on the specifics, but so the first confession was basically Shanann was over top of one of the kids, remember? And he thought, she was trying to hurt one of the kids because she was, going nuts. And he basically threw her off. Remember? He threw her off of them and then strangled, right? Wasn't that? He was basically saving them for the kids. Like they got in an argument and then she went in, and I don't remember if he said on top of Bella or Cece. He saw her on the camera, on the baby monitor, remember? And then he ran in and grabbed her. But I forget some more, the real specifics of it. So, like I said, I'll go over it. But that's basically, it was more like Shanann attacking. Shanann was fighting. Shanann was, the aggressive one, right? Which goes along with when he comes to say she had a knife and she attacked him. So, I don't know what to believe. I don't believe she had a knife and that she heavily drugged. But anyway, we'll get to that part. Sorry. On top of Bella. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Thank you, Tennessee. Anyway, so he's like, why the first confession? It's all confusing in a blur. So he's still saying it's like a blur. And what I'm afraid of, though, you know how people could have false memories. So he's having all these different theories and people reaching out and saying, I think this happened. I think that happened. And all these different theories and everything, which it was probably almost like a dream anyway. When something like that happens, I'm sure it was whoa. So I'm worried that he could have somehow almost created some false memories in his head where he might even think that it's real, but because of getting so many different people's I'm sure he still gets a bunch of letters, and think about the first couple of years, how many letters and how many, I bet you this happened, or different theories, or he heard online, and I'm sure his mom was this person thinks this or this person thinks that. So like, I feel like it could cloud his memory. False memories are real, you know, like it could happen. And I do think he's a liar, but I do think, what if he did create some false memories where he does almost believe them? What do you guys think? Yeah, or do you think he's aware that he's lying? I mean, I do believe he's a liar and he is aware of some of them, but I feel like, what if he's so clouded now on the specifics that now he don't even freaking know some of the specifics that happen? But anyway, so he said, it's all blur. And then Dylan asked, well, why did you switch the confession to you taking all of the responsibility? Because, you know, before he put more blame on Shanann, and then the second confession, it was all him, right? And he says, because I wanted to honor my wife in death as in life, for her family as well. So right there, you know, it sounds like he's trying to insinuate that she had, you know, she was at fault somehow. And he asked if you're going to appeal. And he says, my character is assassinated anyway. I don't need that stress on my wife's family, because even though they hate me and want me to rot and die, I do care for them. And Dylan says, bro, which confession was the truth? And he says, Chris answers, the first confession is the closest to the truth. Which I don't believe that first confession, because I feel like, I'm sorry, no. Because I feel like the interrogators purposely put that. They gave him like a way to feel like okay to admit it. Like, was Shanann hurting the girls and you felt like you had to do that? Like, they put that in his head. So then he felt like it was all a technique. So he was able to like say that. And so that's why I don't believe that, because they did an amazing job in doing that and making him feel like, and he jumped on that. He took the bait. He took the freaking bait, dude. And that's what they said. Did Shanann do something to the girls and you felt like, you know, you had to do something back? He took the bait. So no, I'm sorry. Yeah, that read technique, but like it worked beautiful with him, you know. He freaking took it. I can't believe now he's trying to go back on that. But anyway, so he says, I don't know if I could go back through court and relive that all again, though. And then they pray on it. And then he asks about a preliminary, like, he says, wait, hold on. So it says that they were talking about his case and appeal and stuff. And he says, I was looking for the grounds for appeal. And so Dylan asks, are you saying you took the plea before having a preliminary hearing? And Chris says, yes. And he says, are you sure you didn't waive your rights to a preliminary hearing? And Chris is like, what do you mean? He says, did you sign something saying you don't want a preliminary hearing? And Chris says, I don't think so. So he's not sure, but I don't think so. And then Dylan says, well, why did you sign a plea agreeing to the maximum punishment? And he says, well, Colorado had the death penalty, and they told me that if I didn't take the plea, that they would give me the death sentence. And then Dylan's like, that's basically a threat. Sign here or die, right? And Chris says it felt like it. And Dylan says, I don't think they could do that, though, bro. But yeah, they can. That's what they do. They didn't do anything illegal by doing that. It's perfectly allowed to do that. Hold on, you guys. I'll be in chat in 1 second. I want to finish reading this and then I'll see what you guys have to say. Okay, so Oh, and then Chris says that his attorney told him to file ineffective assistance of counsel on him. And then Dylan says, so basically he told you that he didn't assist you in your best possible defense as required by law. And then Dylan says, also, it takes these type of cases a couple of years to resolve. Yours only took a few months. That's not normal or even heard of. And then I think what he's afraid of is if he goes back to court, they're going to transfer him back to Colorado. And he said the inmates and people there wanted to kill me. So I think that's one thing that's stopping him from appealing, because he's scared to go back there. But he said, that's why they sent me here. And then he says, I'm just not looking forward to reliving all of this. It was the worst thing I ever experienced. And then Dylan basically tells him, do it for your parents. And then he says, yeah, it would. Because he says, it would mean everything to your mom. And Chris says, yeah, it would. But I said the phone calls are recorded. And I said too much over these phone calls. So Chris is like, I already said too much over the phone calls. And then Dylan says, you also had 3 different confessions. People don't know what the hell happened. No matter how many different ways you said you did it. So Dylan's like, they still don't know what happened. Like, you said 3 different things, so it doesn't matter. Like, it's not clear what happened. And he says, because I confessed, how will I come back from that? So she's like, well, I already confessed. How am I going to be able to like come back or appeal that? And then Dylan's like, they threatened your life and got you. No, wait, bullied you into a guilty plea. But that's what they do. I mean, that's how they do it. They do. But anyway, so he's saying you were an easy target, the husband. They needed this case under wraps for some reason. And Chris says there was an election coming up, I think. Now we can go over these circuit court trial errors all day, but it will come down to you fighting your cases again if you get your sentence overturned. You'll be back on the trial, I said. Then the truth will have to come out. Chris says, I don't want to cause my wife's family any more grief. And Dylan said, what about your family and your constant grief? And then Dylan said, all you can do from here is redeem yourself because you confessed to murdering your wife and kids in cold blood. And Chris says, we didn't. He says, we didn't, which is kind of, I know people will probably read into that, but he says, I didn't murder them in cold blood, Chris replied, slightly defensive. My wife came home and she knew I was having an affair. We got into a fight. She attacked me. I was simply defending myself. And then my daughter, and then of course they get interrupted, and it says the sergeant announced interrupting our conversation. So, standing count, they had a count or whatever, and then they continue the conversation. Okay. So he says, Chris says, afterward, I talked to Jezebel, which is NK. He calls NK Jezebel. I panicked. So I confided in her, and she said she would help me, he said. And then he says, my wife medicated her heavily that night because she kept crying. After I killed my wife by choking her to death because she had a knife, something in me just died. It was an accident. I loved her with all my heart and still do. It's such a tragic loss. I just want to honor her memory and not ruin her memory. People want the truth, but I don't owe it to anyone. It's my family that I lost, and it's me that's serving life in prison. What else do I owe? Chris asked. So let's go back to he says, my wife medicated her heavily. Now that I'm reading that again, I don't know. He doesn't specify. I just assumed he's talking about one of the kids because it says she kept crying. My wife medicated her heavily that night because she kept crying. Oh, shoot. Oh. There we go. I'm not sure. Anyway, And then they're talking about like, he said, only you could put the truth out. And then Chris says, when they tell me to put my hand on the Bible and swear, I'm going to open it to where Jesus forbids oaths. Chris laughed. Okay, so now he goes on to say, anyway, I told my mistress what happened, and she told me how to hide my wife's body. She said to bring the girls with. I was just on autopilot, like in shock. So I grabbed my younger daughter out of bed. She was asleep. My older daughter was awake and asking about her mom. I told her that she was in a deep sleep and daddy was going to get her some help to wake up. Before we left, I had to check in with N, just N dash. They get interrupted. Mr. Tallman, you have a pass to CPSU, the sergeant announced. I was going to see my clinical psychologist. So I'm sure he was going to say with Nicole Kessinger, I had to check in with N. That's what he leaves us with, N dash. And then they get interrupted and it says, we'll finish the conversation when I get back. All right. That's it. The rest, yeah. It says they're going to continue. And well, I have a letter to read that he wrote, Dylan, and then a conduct report that it's but I think I already went over this when it happened, the conduct report, but I'll read it again because it says after a couple of days of the segregation, well, he got segregated because where is it? Because the transfer of property. Is that what this is for? Yeah. So yeah. So it says after a couple of days of segregation, the supervisor served me a ticket. So that was Dylan. I had a note to my clinician, unauthorized transfer of property. Chris bought me clothes. He also bought me hygiene items. He confessed to it. And then see conduct report on next page. So that's what the conduct report will be on. But so Chris, he was always getting in trouble. So he was getting his, like, he couldn't talk on the phone. I'm talking about Dylan. So Chris would buy him like underwear, chapstick, buy him stuff. And the clothes would have Chris's name on it. Right. And he said he could, because he talks about this in the book, but I can't read it all. But basically he tried to like rub it off and he couldn't. So he got caught with his stuff. You guys probably remember when it happened. I remember I covered it when it happened years ago when he got caught with Chris's stuff. And the whole thing, I remember when it happened, it was like Chris's boyfriend, there's Vaseline, and people were like, rumors like, oh my God, his underwear is boxers. So there's like people like, saying like, oh, his boyfriend, but I don't think it was anything like that. So yeah, so he would buy him stuff, and like, so he could have stuff. So he got caught and had to go to segregation. Okay. So let me read. Here's I'll share my screen. We could read that, the report. But there was one part I wanted to read where he says he was going to choose his wife. I guess I forgot to highlight that part. Hold on. Where is it? One second, guys. What do you guys think though so far? I'll make sure I get it when the next part comes out. But hold on, I just want to find this other part. I try to tell you. Oh, here it is. So it says, Okay. He says, my heart was in two places. So this is Chris saying, my heart was in two places. He told me that he and the mistress had been getting serious and close. He admitted that he was stupid to cheat on his wife, and he asked God's forgiveness every day for his infidelity. The mistress was growing upon him. However, the wife had his heart. It was near the end that the mistress tried to make Chris choose between her and his wife and kids. I asked him who he chose. He said he chose his wife and kids. The mistress was not too fond of his decision. Many questions flew through my head, so I asked the first one, when did she make you choose? And he said, the night of the incident. And he asked, did your decision have any bearing on what took place, like the incident? I asked. Well, he sighed. By then, my wife had already found out about the affair. This was around the time I was going to try to work through our problems and try mending our relationship. I had kids with this woman and we were married. I couldn't throw that all away for some woman I just met, although I was about to. Yeah, I know. And then he says, there are those temptations put in our path that we are supposed to overcome. Jezebel, or NK, was the forbidden fruit, which made her all the more desirable. I answered, yeah, and it was costly, he admitted. That was as far as we got on that subject that night. Okay. All right, let me read that letter and then we'll chat about this a little bit, and I'll read chat, guys. Don't worry, I'm going to come back and chat because I want to know what you guys are saying. Okay. Let me bring up the letter. Oh, that one didn't save. Hold on. Let me see if that'll save so I could zoom in for us. No, okay. Let me just screenshot this real quick. We'll do the incident report and then I'll read that letter. So what do you guys think? Do you believe anything he said? Do you believe the part where it was NK's idea to where to hide the bodies? Because here's the thing. I feel like most people, what they're going to do with this is they're going to pick and choose what they believe, right? So what I'm thinking is going to happen is they're going to believe the NK part, but they're not going to believe the Shanann part. But like, it's like, if he's lying, he's lying. You know what I'm saying? I know there's probably some truth in it, but it's like, and who do you think he was talking about that she heavily medicated? All right, let me read chat a little bit and then I'll read the letter and the incident report. I just want to see what I missed. Oh, thanks, fam lady. When were you on this case years ago? Were you ever bullied into changing your opinions on the NK being involved or asked to stop talking about the case? Bullied? What do you mean? No, I never was bullied. I mean, people would tell me like what they thought, but no, I wouldn't characterize it as bullied. No. And to stop talking about the case. No, nobody came at me personally to stop talking about the case, but there was that time where Shanann's dad remember he was standing out in front of the house and he was with his lawyer and he was saying how almost saying how he wanted the media to stop talking about it and stuff. And so that was the closest I would say. Now, of course, people would be in chat, if I would still talk about it, the family wants you to stop talking about it. And they would get on me like that, but nobody no, not what I think you're meaning. No. So no. Did I answer? Yeah, so I'm not sure. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. Why wouldn't it have? But maybe it was just something that she had taken anyway. and then she just gave her more of it? Because what was Bella prescribed? Like, or what did they take? Because wasn't it known that she did give him something for sleep sometimes, right? Because maybe it was just something that they would have expected to be in their system anyway, but she just gave him more of it. I don't know. I'm not saying I believe it or not, but I'm just trying to like reason out different possibilities. Yeah, because like I said, yeah, I know. It's like we've heard so many. I mean, with Cheryl and Cadle too, like what he told her. But here's the thing with him telling this guy, this wasn't something that he thought was going to come out. He was telling this friend as a friend. It wasn't like he was like, hey, I'm writing a book. I'm going to publish this or whatever. Their book was supposed to be about like religious stuff. He didn't want it about like what happened supposedly. So this guy is just exposed. Like, I feel like this guy is just talking basically almost, I don't know if it would be considered betraying, unless if Chris, I don't know, did Chris say, hey, like, this is between me and you? I don't know. Did he say that? But like, I feel like it was a talk between friends, and he probably trusted him because they like connected on like a spiritual level. So he probably like trusted that this guy wasn't going to go say anything. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what it was, how it was set up. Like this has to stay between us, or I want you to tell people, or just thinking it was between friends. But my point is like, if he was just talking with him like as a friend, I feel like he's just a liar anyway, though. Because I'm like, is there more truth to it? But like, no, I feel like he's a freaking pathological liar. Like everything he said, I don't know how to take it. Oh, thanks, Sarah. It's so short. I'll send it to you. You'll read it. You could probably read it in like an hour or less. I'll send it to you after the live if you want to check it out. I feel like it is called, hold on, I did see that earlier and I was in the middle of it. The book is called where is it? Hold on. It's the cell next to, wait a minute. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I only read, okay. So I read did I read part 1 or 2? Hold on, guys. Hold on. I only read one. I didn't realize it was singly. Okay. Because I only read one of them. And I don't know if it was part 1 or 2. So we might have more. Hold on one second. Let me see what part 2. Do I have part 2? Hold on, you guys. We might have part 2. I just got to figure out what part I just read. But I still have that letter I want to read to you too. So hold on. The one he wrote where he talks about Jezebel. Hold on one second. Part 1 and 2. Okay, so I want to see which one I read. Oh, I read part 1. Dude, wait, part 2 is out. Let me just get it real quick. I'll get it for all of us. Hold on. I already bought the first part. It's so crazy though, because like I said, it's probably only like 10 pages. I mean, I swear it's like 10 pages maybe. So the first part, I'll have to count how many pages. And the reason the way they make their pages, it's weird. It's like 178, 205. It doesn't go like page 1, page 2, at least with this Kindle, which me reading it online. All right, I'm going to read part 2. Hold on. I'm getting part 2. You guys. Dang it. I wish I would have realized that and I could have read that so I would have had it all ready and highlighted for this live. Dang it. Sorry. All right, so I got part 2. Where is it? Hold on. All right, where is it? Part 2 will be auto delivered. All right, hold on, guys. All right. Yeah. Dang it. Well, you know what I could do, guys? Let me read the letter. Let me read to you guys, and I'll read the incident report. Then I'll take a dinner break or something, lunch break, because I'm freaking starving. I'll read this real quick because they're really short. I could probably read it in an hour, and then I'll come back and give you highlights of that. You want to? But yeah, let's read the letter first. And thank you, Sarah, for that super chat. All right. I ordered it, so I already have part 2, and then part 3 is not out yet. Ooh, this, I mean, it's still like, as much as I feel like he's a liar, I'm still like so invested in this case because, I mean, yeah, this was like my baby, like my case, like, oh my God, it occupied like so many days of my life, weeks, months. But, so I still want to hear what he had to say, just like the Sherlyn Cadle. Like I wanted to hear what he said. All right, so let me read the letter, guys, and then we'll all take a lunch break. I'll read it real quick while I'm eating lunch, and then I'll come back and give you the highlights of that. What do you think? So then you guys could, all right, let me read the letter. If you guys just want the highlights. All right, here we go. So this is the letter. It says, "Dear Heavenly Father," this is Chris Watts, right? "I have backslidden. I am like a sheep gone astray from the flock and have fallen into a pit. The snare of the enemy has entrapped me. The words of a harlot has brought me low. Her flattering speech was like drops of honey that pierced my heart and soul." So he's talking about NK here. Okay, this is about NK. "Little did I know all her guests were in the chamber of death. The lust of the eyes, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. How did I not see it? How did I let this happen? The blessings you have bestowed upon me were right in front of me, and still I followed the perfume of a strange woman. The web of the enemy squeezes around my heart and is cocooning my soul to the point of suffocation. The enemy and his Jezebel mock and scourge me as they celebrate another capture. But oh, that man would praise the Lord for his goodness and for his wonderful works to the children of men. You, O Lord, did not leave me captive or condemned. You heard the prayer of the destitute and of the prisoner appointed to death. You opened my eyes, you made my ears ready to perceive, and you said, 'Come forth.' The web of death loosened its grip, and I walked into the light of your presence. As I humbly kneeled before you, you said, 'Go and sin no more. Your faith has made you whole.' In Jesus' precious name, amen." Okay? So it's definitely, talking about NK. And then that incident report that's at the end of part 1 that Dylan shares, we'll share this. On 7/6/2020, Sergeant Pass and I, Sergeant Hilscher, conducted a cell search on Unit 11, Cell 13, that is assigned to Tolman Dillon. The following contraband items were found in his room: dental floss, toothbrush holder, Colgate toothbrush cup with lid, black pen, tube of Carmex, bar of soap, bag of Q-tips, staff post-it notes small, candy, cocoa butter lotion, secret deodorant, skin cream, body powder, baby oil, petroleum jelly, shampoo, black Sharpie marker, a pair of boxer shorts, Fruit of the Loom brand labeled with inmate Watts Christopher name on them. I have attached evidence from WICS to the contraband bag that the only item that inmate Tolman has purchased since being transferred to DCI on 7/8/2019 was Reg Magic Cream Shave on 8/12/2019. Inmate Tolman has repeatedly been told that there is no trading of any kind on the unit by both first and second shift unit staff. We also found a psychological service request dated 7/1/20 that was addressed to psychological thoughts and love for you, Krista. Inmate cellmate, I can't, psychologist, because it was bent. Whatever, Christina. The request states that he is love sick for her, asks her Will you be mine through thick and thin, great and rough, among other things? On 4/30/20, inmate Tolman received a conduct report for contraband for having canteen items in his cell that he did not purchase. Lieutenant Collably was contacted and advised on what was found. Inmate Tolman was put in temporary lockup status and escorted to restrictive housing unit, and Unit 11 was returning from recreation. The PCI request is also in the contraband bag of evidence that was taken and secured in the security suite along with contraband items. Okay. Yeah, basically, later in the day, inmate Watts, Christopher, was questioned by Sergeant Mueller and myself since his boxer shorts were labeled with his name were found in inmate Tolman's room. Inmate Watts admitted to giving inmate Tolman his own personal books, hygiene products from canteen, toothbrush, petroleum jelly, shampoo, soap, coffee, his own personal Fruit of the Loom boxers. Inmate Watts also admitted to calling inmate Tolman's mom for him and having Watts' parents message call inmate Tolman's mom and girlfriend also. DCI handbook, inmates are not allowed to make telephone calls for other inmates. Inmate Watts said that he was aware that he cannot give another inmate his property and did not have permission to give any items away. So yeah. All right. So let me just read chat a little bit, and then I'm going to go, because I feel bad I didn't get to really see what you guys were saying. Yes, it is the first one that got me started. I know, Sarah. I remember because I covered this when this happened, and everybody was like, because he had his boxer shorts and the petroleum jelly. So everybody was like thinking it was like, ooh, like that was the thing. First thought of everybody, oh my God, is this like his boyfriend or whatever? But now, like after knowing the bigger story, like I don't think there was anything like that going on between them. I could be wrong, but yeah, they were just like working on this religious book together. So, whoa, what was that? Oh yeah, I mean she did. It's really weird that she Googled her name. Yeah, I don't get that. Some stuff just doesn't make sense. And I mean, I think that's what kept me so intrigued for so long with this case, with Chris and Shanann in 2017. This is also Times. Wait, I don't think I'm liking where you're going with that, though. But I mean, everybody's allowed to have their own opinion. I don't agree. If I'm thinking right with what you're thinking, I don't agree. Like, I don't think her family had anything to do with, like, but everybody's allowed to, think what they want, have their own opinion. That's what makes the world go around. But yeah, I'll have to agree to disagree with you on that one. But no, the Google and the not name, I think it was more that she had her out for Chris and was just checking out what was going on, checking her out. Yeah, I know, but I'm still interested. It's still part of, like I bought Sherilyn Cadle's too. Of course, everybody's trying. You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants to do good with what they're doing. But yeah, all right. Yeah, that was me. Or I don't know. I was the one, Tori. I was the one that did the first interview with that girl. And I think she went on to do more. But I remember she was in chat, and it was like the first one she came on, and she had just had dental work. So people were giving her crap about like the way she was talking. But yes, that was the first interview with her where she went to the gym and said, yep. I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me. Oh my God, I forgot about that. Dude, I think I have like 200 videos of Christmas. Dude, I would like to like maybe kind of like go over it a little bit again, because like people are still interested. I still have people watching my Chris Watts videos like this whole 5 years. They're still, because like I get comments and I'm still having people commenting and watching it. Like people are just, that's a case that for different reasons just hit so many people's like close. Like it's just like people can relate to it on so many different reasons and ways. It's just crazy. But yeah, okay, I'm gonna go eat lunch. I'm gonna read that and then I'll come back and do the highlights for part 2. You guys down for it? Really, Tennessee? Wow, that's crazy. Local jazz hands. It is the cell next door. The cell next door. The cell next door. The book, The Cell Next Door. That's what it's called. Whoever asked that. I said it earlier too, but I know people come in or you're busy chatting. But yes, I know. I just don't want you to think I was ignoring you because I had answered it, and I'll answer it again. The Cell Next Door. So yeah, I had ran over. That was part 1. Now I just ordered part 2. I'm gonna read it and give some highlights and come back. All right, guys, go eat some lunch. Go eat some lunch. I'm so hungry. All right, bye guys. See you in like an hour or 2. Okay. Thanks for coming.